and that might hurt, but you've got 11 other sites scattered across other areas that are more or less under your management. And I think it's going to be a combination of fractionalization and becoming very resourceful that's going to become what's more important to industrious mining.
Well, that and too, like, I mean, the way I view kind of Bitcoin miners is similar to an oil miners or, gold miners or whatever. I mean, like those companies, they try to distance themselves from the asset that they're mining or obtaining, more than anything. And I think, at a certain point, a lot of these Bitcoin miners, the publicly traded ones, got kind of into the hype of the bull market, and started holding on to Bitcoin and exposing themselves to a lot of this, the Bitcoin volatility, which obviously in a bull market is great, but in a bear market is really tough and difficult, which is what I think, a lot of them kind of ran into. So it is a tough business. And I think like some of these bigger guys too, you got to look into, what are their most resilient businesses, just period, right? They have multiple sources of revenue. So I think, like we're saying here, the companies that are, that are going to be great Bitcoin miners are maybe the ones that did well throughout the bull market in Bitcoin mining, but also start to look at other ways to obtain revenue, whether that's, using that excess heat or, finding some other, I guess, way to kind of utilize something with the miners where, they get creative somehow and find some other, I guess, revenue stream, and that'll make them more resilient for more and more bear markets kind of going forward.
Exactly. I think that's probably my number one goal, at least with Ghostfruit, or maybe even beyond that, just as a miner, is to integrate mining in a way for people that it's integral, beyond the price point or beyond, whether these people are interested in Bitcoin itself or not. I want to make mining something that people are interested in for its other uses. Even if they don't intend to hold the asset itself, even if they just intend to trade it off to help pay their bills or whatever their deal is there. I'd like to make it easier for people to mine on a scale that doesn't require, a lot like what you said, hashing to heating is doing, what CryptoCloaks is doing. These, ideas of essentially a plug and play, which I think is wonderful. I really love the plug and play. I personally love a little bit more customization, and I think that's where, some people are going to want that same type of idea too, where they want a machine at their house, but maybe they want to play with a couple options too, or they want to have, like when I worked in the fish industry, you've got these people that have money and they want a fish tank, but they don't want to take care of it. They just want to tell you, I want this and I want that, and I want you to keep it alive. And I think it'll be the same thing with some people introducing miners to their house. They'll hire a technician that comes by and tunes it up or tunes it down, installs new firmware, and troubleshoots it. I don't think it'll be too long before we see like home technicians for ASICs becoming a thing.
Yeah, and Lil, I might need to have you come down, you and Hash into Heating kind of come down, and I think I'm gonna buy a new water. I need to buy a new water heater at some point next year. So I want to try to see if I can integrate a Bitcoin miner in there somehow.
Yeah, that's a project that I know we'd love to take on. I mean, I don't want to speak for John, but I would love to take it on, and I'm sure he'd be excited about it.
Yeah, because I don't know. Just full disclosure on my place, like I have a duplex, but I have two big water heaters now that are outside but covered. So it is I guess the way it works right now is the water runs through one water heater into another one, and then it runs into both units. So um, I don't know. I think it's something that could be done, and I do have plugs, access to internet, all that kind of stuff. So it could be something that would be pretty cool, and I'd be willing to, I guess, be a guinea pig for that.
Yeah, and I mean, even if we have to stick, so like I'd assume the miners would be going outside at that point in time just to keep them closer, and we could just stick them in like a black box or something like that. See if Econo Alchemist either has like a couple extras laying around, or if we can just get the prints off him and just make one. That would probably be the easiest way to do that. And then as far as connecting it, yeah, it'll take a little bit of looking at it, but I would say it's definitely doable.
All
I kind
right.
of wish that I was a miner before I bought my new fucking water heater. I
Yeah.
bought a new water heater like 6 to 8 months before I got into fucking before I got into mining. So now I'm sitting here looking at this thing going, how do you return a water heater? What do you who do I call for this?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's gonna be the project. I'll document it maybe on my YouTube and everything too, if I can get you guys out here to do it one week or something like that. But yeah, man, I think it could be a cool project. But yeah, I think that it's gonna be a lot of various stuff like that kind of going on in this space in this next year, and I think for I guess that aspect of the space is kind of what I'm most excited about going into 2023. And I'm not even really like I mean, like I know about mining or anything, but I don't have any miners, and I'm not like, I'm not as in deep as in Lil. But that's something I don't know that just really kind of excites me about the space.
I mean, that's cool to hear. I love when people that aren't miners get excited about it because, like I said, it was hardly a year ago that I wasn't a Bitcoin miner. I did GPU mining for shit coins and things like that, and I thought, oh yeah, I know what's going on, but it is a whole different world. But there's still a breadth to that. There's a varied degree of like what home mining can be. I don't have any availability to 220 or 240 volt outlets in my house anywhere at all. My house is 180 years old. The electrical hasn't been updated since Jesus Christ, the 80s. I think right after they started replacing fuse or bulb fuses. So like the highest breaker I have in my house is 20 amps. Like I said, I'm still running 3 miners in here, and I'm not flipping anything at any point in time. Yeah, I can't run an S19, unfortunately, not without upgrading some things. But that doesn't mean that there's not a lot that can't be done still. And so that's always something that I really like to kind of try to get into people when they hear, mining's complicated or mining's, too rough to get into. There's too many complications and there's just too much heat, too much noise. I mean, fuck, I'll go walk right up to the miner that I have running. Okay, so I am in the greenhouse. Can you hear the miner?
No, you can't. At least I don't know. I can't really.
Yeah, I'm about as close as I can get to it. Like I feel like the water bubbling is louder from the air bubbles in the tank. But yeah, I mean, the one upstairs, same thing.